O'Hara after the Los Angeles Times first reported on that case. An 18-year-old Edward Vargas arrested in Racine County on possession of child pornography.
On Friday, the Racine County Criminal Investigations Bureau and the Racine County Internet Crimes Against Children Division executed a search warrant for possession of child sexual abuse material in Burlington. Authorities took Vargas into custody and seized his electronic devices. Authorities found thousands of images and videos of child sexual abuse material. Vargas is charged with 15 counts of possession of child pornography and 3 counts failure to update information as a sex offender. Jack Grau, WTMJ News.
Dominican barbershop on Milwaukee's South Side picking up the pieces following a fire Friday that left the building at 13th and Cleveland in ruins. TMJ4's Kaylee Starall.
Just across the street from where that fire happened is another barbershop. This is where I talked with a worker who says a tragedy like that one can destroy a dream.
I saw videos of the place burning. I thought it was this one, low key.
As part of a small business, Christopher Colon knows the hard work it takes to keep going.
A lot of money going in, and you lose a lot from clients, so it goes a long way.
Additionally, Milwaukee police say one of the responding EMS trucks was struck by a car near 27th and Forest Home on its way to the fire. No firefighters were hurt. The driver of the car sustained just minor injuries. More international flights could be coming to Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport. Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley pushing for the addition of an international terminal. Editor-in-chief of the Milwaukee Business Journal, Mark Cass, tells Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News the cost would be about $80 million.
From both local funds and then from the Fed, which is where they're applying for grants. Hopefully to see more flights north to Canada, maybe some to Europe, some to the Caribbean. It'd be nice to have that because it adds options. What's also important is it holds the people in Milwaukee so they're not driving to Illinois to O'Hare to hop on a flight.
Currently, the airport's international flights arrive at a separate building from the airport's main terminal, which is undersized for modern aircraft. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 92 points, 39,382. NASDAQ is down 57, and the S&P 500 is down 11. It's a great time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Go to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button now. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:04.
This report is sponsored by Diamonds Direct. Your love, their passion.
Former pro football offensive tackle Mitch Schwartz knows for a guy, buying jewelry is a daunting task at most stores, but not if you go to Diamonds Direct.
It's very simple and very easy process for a guy to go in there and not be overwhelmed.
Mitch found Diamonds Direct and has been back many times buying jewelry for his wife, Brooke, and he's never felt any pressure.
They're going to educate you about what you're looking for, what the diamonds are, how the process works.
At Diamonds Direct, we respect both you and your budget.
I think everyone's kind of searching for value. You don't want to be taken advantage of, and Diamonds Direct is leading in that regard. You're going to feel really comfortable there. You're going to have a good time. You're going to find something that looks amazing and that you're going to get the best value for it.
So if you're worried about getting sweaty palms when you walk into a jewelry store, relax. Take Mitch's advice and enjoy the experience at Diamonds Direct.
We have definitely recommended Diamonds Direct to friends, to other teammates. Everyone else who has been through there has had as awesome an experience as we have.
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get directions, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sporked called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni Frozen Pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian. Taste what all the screamin' is about.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Number 2 Marquette slipped past 10th-seeded Colorado 81-77 to reach the Sweet 16 in the college basketball tournament. Golden Eagles tip off against 11th-seed NC State in the South region on Friday. Meanwhile, number 5 Wisconsin fell to 12th-seeded James Madison in round 1 of the tourney. This college basketball update presented by Outdoor Living Unlimited. The Bucks have won back-to-back games after silencing the Thunder 118-93 at Fiserv Forum. Milwaukee still leads the Central Division 46-25, hosts the Lakers tomorrow night. Brewers blew out the Diamondbacks 14-4 in spring training action from Phoenix. Brewers now 14-14 in exhibition play. They host the Rockies this afternoon. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. I-41 southbound at Highway 60, left lane there blocked due to a crash. I-94 west at I-41, the right shoulder was blocked due to a disabled vehicle. That has cleared up. So a couple of slow spots to watch out for. I-43 southbound Brown Deer Road to downtown, and I-894 westbound from the Mitchell interchange to the Hale interchange.
Traffic is sponsored by Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee. Milwaukee Mattress, where top quality mattresses are priced hundreds less than premium national mattress brands. Found exclusively at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, and downtown Milwaukee.
Here's your Storm Team 4 5-day forecast. We have a rainy and windy week ahead, or at least the beginning of the week. Rainy today, breezy, high 55. Rain likely tonight, 45. A few thunderstorms possible tomorrow with a high 53. Then it should clear up a little bit Wednesday. Cooler with a high 43. Sunshine comes out on Thursday, a high 47. Partly cloudy Friday with a high 47. Lakeside, 55 inland. Madison's at 39. Green Bay, 37. Milwaukee, 41. I'm Connie Weber. Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 9:08.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Monday show, Political Power Hour. Got great guests today. We always have great guests in this program. That's the difference, right? That's the fun part. Today, legendary local journalist. You give me that look when I say stuff like that, but you earned that title.
Well, thank
Bill
you.
Glauber, everybody.
That legendary is another word instead of old.
Right. Long tenured. Yeah, yes. And on the other side of the studio, AJ Bayapor, CBS 58 political reporter. Welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Let's start with a Wisconsin story. Congressman Mike Gallagher, surprising everybody, sort of. He was going to leave anyway, and now he's going to go work for an organization. What is it, Plantier? Is that the name of this place?
Yeah. I mean, maybe. We don't know that, but that's been rumored.
Yeah, it's been a lot of different sources have said that. Anyway. The tricky part for me, and this is the part I want to get into with you guys, is this seems to be a timing thing, and certainly from a political perspective, for Republicans in Congress, especially the House, this sort of changes everything. Their slim margin gets even slimmer. God forbid somebody gets sick or gets hit by a car, then it's crazy time in the House. Your view on the story, AJ?
Well, it'll be interesting for at least a couple of months. I mean, there are going to be some of these special elections in other states coming up around May and June. So for some of those Republicans.
But not for him.
But not right now. Yeah, for Gallagher, the timing is interesting because this window where he's, effectively out of the seat makes it so that there won't be a special election. Had it been effective before the second Tuesday in April, there would have been a special election for his seat. Now, because of the timing between second week in April, second week in May, the partisan primary in August, already on the calendar, will be the primary for this seat, and then the November general election is when the general election will be held for that seat. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of there because, as you know, traditionally, guys, that congressional district in northeast Wisconsin has been held by fairly moderate candidates going back, 30, 40 years.
Yeah. Do you think the timing was he did that on purpose?
I mean, he hasn't given any indication. I mean, that was a kind of a vague statement, to say for sure, so I'd have to be speculating to say what the reason is, but I certainly would be surprised if it's a coincidence that it just so happens to be effective in this window where the election is going to now happen in line with the partisan primary November election, as opposed to putting the onus on the governor to call a special election.
I mean, he did better than Duffy did in this similar situation where he left and they had to have a special election, and then they had to have another election. Now the district goes without representation for a few months, but Congress isn't going to be doing anything in the second half of the year except for running for re-election.
Some would argue they haven't done that much in their session when they were there. It's like the least performing Congress we've seen. 47 in the House? 47 bills, passed legislation.
It is unbelievable in that you've got a guy who had this meteoric rise, and it's over. It's just like that. A year ago this time, we were talking about having him run for Senate, maybe being in line for something if the Republicans won the White House, a Republican other than Trump. And now it's over.
Rising star. I called him the smart. I think this is still true. One of the smartest congressmen we have in the state. Congress people in the state. Somebody who, he looks like a president, for Pete's sake. Let's put it that way. And now he just goes off. Is that, this is sort of a field question, but is this a guy who's just disgusted with politics, or is this guy has a much different life course that he's plotted out with his family? Maybe it's that.
I'm definitely curious to know how much of this decision, if it was already going to be made, how much of it was sped up by some of the blowback he got on the vote against impeaching Secretary Mayorkas. I wonder if he fully anticipated the type of blowback he would get for that vote, and if that sped up what was going on. I don't know if he was already, having his mind made up that he was going to leave. I'd be curious to know how much that vote played into it. But you look at what's happening right now in the House. I mean, Speaker Johnson ascends, and now Marjorie Taylor Greene is, trying to get him out. I wonder if he looks at what's going on in that caucus and says, is there a place for me to do the things I want to do? I don't know.
He had a leadership position. I mean, he rising star. Look again at the House. This is in my opinion, a train wreck. They can't get out of their own way. They have a small group, whether it's Freedom Caucus, whether it's just these crazies that somehow got elected in places where apparently there wasn't another great choice to pick from, and they're serving the people's house. And I look at this every day and I go, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish. We have Ukraine, Israel, certainly the border, immigration. Everything's on a essentially status because we can't get any agreement from anybody anymore. And we have, oh, by the way, there's a former president who seems to be the puppet master, at least over the Republican members in the House, and they're accomplishing nothing. And you have the majority, yet you can't do anything.
They are. The bill they passed on the funding over the weekend. I mean, basically, what they did was the McCarthy plan that he walked away from, and then ended up getting him tossed out of office. And I just don't understand it.
Johnson did what McCarthy did. McCarthy's gone. Is Johnson going to be gone?
Yeah,
how does he survive that?
I don't understand it. I don't understand the calculus inside that Republican caucus. The other part of that is it's not like you can vote people out because very few of these districts are even competitive if you wanted to vote them out. And that's another problem that's plaguing Congress and that's dividing them so dramatically.
Real quick before the break, looking at the Republican members of the House in Wisconsin, I always looked at Gallagher as sort of the smartest guy in the room, sort of the unofficial leader of that group. I could be wrong. Who picks up the mantle from him, if anyone? Who's that guy? Because they're all men.
It's probably the closest comp, wouldn't you say, Brian Style? In terms of he does, in terms of being at least more on a little bit more on the wonkish side, being a
Fitzgerald.
It's awfully quiet. He's not as public facing as guys like Style has these very public, town hall type events. I feel a little more outspoken on things than Fitzgerald is, I'd say.
Texter says, stop saying Republicans. This is MAGA.
No, this is Republicans. This is the Wisconsin Republican Party, and these are the representatives of it. It's not MAGA. It is the Wisconsin Republican Party.
Grothman was there before Donald Trump was ever president. So, I think so. Yeah, that's right. Right? He's been there like 15 years. I think so. I'll have to look that up during the break. AJ Bayat-Poor. Bill Glauber, legendary Bill Glauber, as we like to say on the program. We'll take a break here. After the break, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I'm in a mood today, and we're going to have to sort that out.
I can tell.
Yes. The frustration of performative politics and nonsensical politics have gotten under my skin, Bill Glauber and AJ, and we'll have to work that out. The ramifications of that, I have no idea what they are, but we'll sort it out after this.
All of the drama, all of the heart-pounding anticipation, all of the dancing.
Rises up, it's good, and it's good! It's good!
Keep it here on WTMJ for all of your March Hoops craziness during every sports update on Wisconsin's morning and afternoon news. Sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited. Don't miss a single moment of this.
At the buzzer, got it! Are you kidding me?
All tourney long on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I had snoring issues, tossing and turning. Nobody needs to sleep like that, and you certainly don't want to live like that. I did something about it. I went to Advent. 30-minute visit. Talked to two docs. They asked me the right questions. Now, everybody's different problems, different solutions. Mine was my breathing triangle, which I didn't even know I really had before that. Sinuses, nasal passages, not getting enough oxygen, which, by the way, makes you smarter. Think about that for a second. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, sleeping through the whole night last night. Are you jealous? 7.5 hours uninterrupted sleep. I never moved. My covers look the same this morning as they did when I went to bed. That could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com and schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
AJ Viapor, Bill Glauber joining us on the media day here on the Political Power Hour, the journalist day, I should say. AJ, you wanted to make a little extra point on our previous conversation.
Yeah, I think the term that you used right before going into break, performative politics, and I think that's kind of what you're seeing right now with this House situation. I mean, it's one thing to say, okay, well, you end up agreeing to the spending plan that you had originally railed against. What's the alternative? I mean, you can complain all you want about, well, the spending's out of control, and the debt is a problem. And you look down the line, you talk to economic experts, it is a problem. But what's your plan? You're going to cut? What are you going to cut? You're going to reform Social Security? How are you going to do it? And when it becomes time to govern and make those tough decisions, that's when we see some of these loudest talkers go into a shell. Because when they're actually on the seat and they're on the spot and it's time to actually govern, the output doesn't match the rhetoric.
Texter says, I'm in a mood too, Steve. Unleash my frustrations for me. I think, again, this is beyond probably what you guys want to talk about, but there's this growing sentiment among American voters that there's just these two sides yelling at each other, then all the rest of us in the middle are like, why don't we get some work done? Very unproductive recent session in the House. They can't figure out the big stuff. Ukraine, important ally, Israel, we're messing around with that story. I guess when you look at it from a voting perspective, it's like I would expect a little more. I'm a guy who was an elected official, and the last thing I wanted to do was just be there. I wanted to actively do things. Look constructively at the future.
You're blaming both parties, but are both parties to actually to blame in this? Is this a symptom of a broken Republican Party?
Certainly that, but I would also argue the ideology of Democrats, at least the platform, is that we're going to just give everything to everyone. You get a car, simplistically put, Oprah, of course. We want to pay for it.
But if one political party is broken, which in the terms of Republicans, they're certainly going through a transition. If one political party doesn't want to play, then how does that affect the other party when neither party has complete power?
In the short term, there's no way to make that work. In the longer term, voters can say to the one side that, I guess you're arguing that Democrats aren't broken, right?
Right now, they're not broken.
Right.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm not going to say they're not going to be broken in 10 years from now, but right now they're not broken.
The only way the public voters could do something about that is to hand the power to one party and say, okay, you're the grown-ups, here's your chance, do something. And then we can all sit back and say, all right, Did you do it? Did you fix those problems or not? And then we shifted to the other side of the equation. Here's a bigger question. Do we get out of this, whatever the Republican Party is doing right now, whether it's MAGA separating, whether it's a Republican Party splintering, does this present an opportunity finally for a viable third party, maybe the beginning of that for the future? 20 years from now, 30 years from now, we'll look back and say, that's when it started. Donald Trump, MAGA, they split off. Republicans went one way, MAGA went the other. Is this the beginning of that?
Well, you're predicting a Whigs, basically.
Right. Historically, yes. What do you think?
Are you essentially saying a center-right party is what would rise? Essentially something that's more center-right.
Maybe even that other party becomes something that's mixed with Democrats and Republicans, sort of a morphed independent group in the middle. Moderates is the term that typically is used. Maybe that's the future. Maybe this isn't a bad thing. I'm trying to rationalize this in my head as I'm talking. Maybe this is the beginning of something different, where we have three viable parties.
I think for the foreseeable future, we're in a two-party system. And I think, with the third parties monkeying around in this election, that'll accentuate that we're really a two-party system.
Hard to change all the money that's in the two parties that we invested in those
We're
parties.
talking billions of dollars.
Yeah, and there's not that many people that can play in that arena. And to be honest, again, this is my personal opinion, I used to have a mad respect for billionaires. I think now they're some of the dumbest people on the planet. They're lucky. They, in some way, found the end of the rainbow and the gold and found something or a service or a product that worked, whether that was computers, whether that was social media, and they benefited from that. But I by no means think they're smarter than the rest of us.
I think you should read Kara Swisher's Burn book.
I'm halfway through it right now. It's on my table at home.
This is why you're expressing the thought that you're expressing.
Which, by the way, is a great book. And it looks at that sector, right? Tech. She's covered it for 30 years. And she doesn't put any, soft filters on it. She's very critical of the Elon Musks and all the geniuses, in air quotes, that have sort of led the way on technology and really, in some ways, led our culture. All right, let's shift gears. Big story over the weekend. Ronna McDaniel, former RNC chair, part of the Trump experience, right? She led the charge for Donald Trump, chief cheerleader on top of the RNC. She's gone. Replaced by Lara Trump, I think is that her? Yeah,
Lara.
Lara. Yeah.
Well, you have a guy from North Carolina who's the head of the RNC, Wheatley now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And thanks for the correction. So she gets hired by NBC, and immediately a massive uproar to the point where Meet the Press yesterday, Kristen Welker has Chuck Todd on. He blows up the network that he works for. I think he's still working there. What do you make of that as a journalist? That's sort of an interesting. Your company hires somebody for their perspective. I don't think they hired her as a journalist. I think they hired her because she has opinions about Republicans and Republican policies and ideas. But yet she's being bashed by the entire MSNBC family, where I don't even think she's going to be on that network now, and that's part of the NBC umbrella, right? And now NBC may even be challenging that previous decision. What do you think?
Well, on one hand, you can say, I don't want a political loudmouth, infiltrating our network. But you're the same network that did hire Jen Psaki, who was one of the press people under the Obama administration. So if on one hand you're opening up this lane for political commentators, I can understand the criticism of saying, well, it's hypocritical to say, well, we don't like when it's a Republican who's now brought in. On the other hand, Ronna McDaniel spouted election denial stuff. Mm-hmm. That's different. That's not
she participated in it.
Right. That's not just I'm a politics person now kind of jumping and doing analysis. So I can understand why on one hand there's folks saying it's kind of hypocritical. You're fine with it when it's an Obama administration person coming in to be a talking head on your panels. You don't like it when it's Ronna McDaniel. On the other hand, Ronna McDaniel was doing the election denial stuff. That's a different level.
Couple of things. First of all, it's Michael Whatley who's head of the RNC. Yeah. Secondly, on Ronna McDaniel, she's one of the reasons why the convention is coming to Milwaukee. My dealings with her were always fine. I didn't have to deal with her during the election denial stuff. But I also think, you get paid $300,000 and nobody wants you there. Your coworkers. It's got to be a tough situation.
I still take the money. Yeah. And there's just as biased people already represented in all the networks in politics.
I was just astonished by the public blowback, on-air blowback, which is, I was just incredulous. But, this strikes me, there's a corporate end of this is that, NBC and NBC Universal, they want to get in with the Trump crowd, but whether going to Ronna McDaniel, who was forced out by Trump, I don't know if that's the way to go. What is her constituency in terms of the overall media landscape and within the Republican Party? I just don't know.
I would give a little more credit to former Governor Scott Walker and Reince Priebus for getting the RNC here, but she's certainly part of that conversation.
Well, she ends up making the decision.
Yes, she was in charge,
yeah,
supposedly. I guess maybe Trump's in charge. All right, Bill Glauber, AJ Bayatpour, quick break here. We get the bottom of the hour news. We get the latest from ABC. Lots more to talk about with our two smart journalists on the sort of the journalist edition of the Political Power Hour right here on WTMJ.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
I-94, eastbound. A semi just came to a screeching stop in the center lane. I think he's broken down right there.
Call me, Debbie Loziga, at the Hall Volkswagen traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
On southbound I-94, right around Drexel Avenue, there's a wreck in the left lane, and the left lane is blocked.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it? Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Adair. Let's spell it for you. ADAIR, Floors and Remodeling, South 27th Street. They transformed our basement landing area. It went from that old funky linoleum, which didn't even look good anymore, to sort of a wood plank treatment. It looks fantastic. Completely updated it. I worked with their design team, my wife Kathy and I. They can help with all your flooring and remodeling needs. Home or business, by the way. Family owned and operated. They put my kitchen floor in, I think, 25 years ago. And owner Rob was at my house. He goes, it looks fantastic still, and I agree. It still looks amazing. That's the kind of performance you get from Adair Floors. If you stop in and tell them Scaffidi sent you, they'll be extra nice. Visit them online at adairfloors.com. One more time, adairfloors.com.
I'm going to say it again. Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. And what that means is wherever we go, we make it better for those in need of our services and the great people we have working with us. Our reputation matters. Over the years, we've cut our losses with a handful of people that just didn't live our values as much as we'd like. And a lot of them, if not all of them, still work in the industry today. I say this because I want you to know when you work with Semper Fi, character counts. It's why you can count on the industry's hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty that now includes free annual inspections. And it's why we always have one project manager per job, which is absolutely not the industry standard. When you're paying for a brand new roof to go on what's likely the biggest investment you have, you want it done right, and you want to be able to count on the people doing it. This is Brad Youngworth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Increase in taxes while families are paying more for everything from gas to groceries is wrong. Milwaukee voters should oppose increase in property taxes by nearly 30% in order to provide increased funding, yet again, to Milwaukee Public Schools. They've already wasted nearly $1 billion in new taxpayer funding, and now they want more? They don't even have a plan on how they'll spend it. Enough is enough. Milwaukee voters should just say no.
Paid for by Enough is Enough. Vote no.
Make it a real Mad March with a playoff payout at Potawatomi. Every week you could score your share of $100,000 in cash and free play. Play this March for drawing entries. Win each Thursday. Plus, the prizes refresh every week for even more winners. The playoff payout at Potawatomi, Milwaukee. It's anyone's game. For more details, visit paysbig.com/payout. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
9:30 is our news time. Here's the latest from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Former President Donald Trump is in court in New York City for a hearing in the hush money case involving an adult actress. Today is also the deadline for him to secure a bond to pay the $464 million corporate fraud judgment, says ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
Today's the deadline for Donald Trump to put up the full amount of the judgment in a bond so he can pursue his appeal. His attorneys have said that has proven to be practically impossible. For the moment, there's no telling what's going to happen next. The New York Attorney General might seek to begin the complicated process of having some of Trump's assets seized. But Trump is also hoping for a last-minute intervention by a state appeals court.
Some major shakeup at embattled Boeing, the CEO leaving at the end of the year. Some other executives are also out amid high-profile safety incidents. And L.A. Dodger star Shohei Ohtani says he'll speak to reporters today. It'll be the first time since his interpreter was fired after being questioned about money taken from Ohtani's account. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:31. Officer involved shooting 64th and Sheridan. Police say they were trying to talk to a man. He ran off and fired at them. They fired back. He's in critical condition. No officers hurt. A 16-year-old girl, Kavia Montgomery Greer, listed as critically missing, has not been seen since Tuesday near 11th and Hayes and recently had threatened on Instagram to hurt herself. She's 5'8", 168 pounds, brown eyes, black braided hair, wearing black leggings, black shoes, and a long gray coat. Significant staff cuts coming for the Glendale River Hills School District. 13 staff positions will be eliminated through resignations or retirements, projected to save the district over $1 million. The cut positions include 2 building substitutes at both Parkway Elementary School and Glen Hills Middle School, in addition to the world language teacher and a math teacher at the middle school. The district says with certainty all schools will remain open and the quality of education unchanged. District faces a $3.6 million deficit after discovering significant errors in accounting and budgeting made by staff who are no longer with the district. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 111 points, 39,364. The Nasdaq is down 33, 16,395. And the S&P 500 is down 10 at 5,223. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite Financial Planning at every level. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. That earlier crash that was blocking the left lane, I-41 southbound at Highway 60, that has been cleared. All lanes are open. Look for just a little bit of slowing at I-43 southbound between Brown Deer Road and downtown. That's about a 15-minute drive this morning. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast, rainy and breezy today with a high of 55. Rain likely breezy tonight with a low 45. And rainy, maybe even a thunderstorm tomorrow, 53. Clearing up on Wednesday, but still cool with a high 43. Sunny and 47 Thursday. Partly cloudy Friday, highs 47 to 55. Madison at 40, Green Bay 38, Milwaukee 42 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:33.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Heiser Automotive. Hey, it was moving day last week. Went from the 2023 Ford Explorer XLT, love that thing, to a Chevy Equinox. Why the Chevy Equinox? Because we're actually going to buy a Chevy Equinox for my wife, Kathy. She loves that model, that Chevy model, and we're just getting to know it a little bit. We took it for a little test drive over the weekend. I'll tell you all about it in the months ahead, and then we'll tell you about the purchase when that comes about this summer. Some of the great programs at Heiser, that's one of the reasons I love talking about them, and I've been with them for about 5 years. I was a Heiser buyer before I was a spokesperson. Safe and Sound program, all their new and used vehicles. Vehicle exchange, don't love it? Exchange it. That's great for customers. Roadside assistance for life. Never be stranded for the life of your vehicle through all the seasons. Great inventory, fantastic customer service. Mary Ann Scaffidi, Steve Scaffidi, not related, but the quality of the name is one of the reasons I love Heiser. How about that? That's why they say every day, today is your day.
Who's faster, the Easter Bunny or O&H Danish Bakery? Kringle. Send that famous Kringle to any doorstep in just 2 business days. Serving Kringle will be the perfect Easter tradition. Pair that with their colorful and tasty Easter braided colored bread. Order your Easter treats online today. OHDanishBakery.com. Try all their delicious bakery made from scratch and hop into O&H Danish Bakery in Racine, Oak Creek, or Sturtevant this Easter season.
Having some fun on this political power on Monday. I'm in a feisty mood today. I'm in a good mood, though. I had a nice relaxing. It was a long weekend for me. Way too much time watching TV. What'd you guys do on the weekend? Bill Glauber, what'd you do?
I went skating at the Pettit the last Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was the last 3 days of the oval season, so I was out there skating slowly. If you saw an old, slow guy wearing a helmet, that was me.
You don't have the big thighs like the skaters do?
No, I don't. I get outskated by the 6-year-olds. There was a 6-year-old kid named Julian yesterday. He was a power skater like madness. It was tremendous.
Where did your love of speed skating come from?
It's not speed skating.
Skating.
I used skating. I grew up skating.
Yeah?
Yeah. I have brothers who played hockey. I don't skate well enough to play hockey. I just like to skate.
Your brother Bob play hockey?
He was a hockey player.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
AJ, what'd you do this weekend?
All right, so I'm one of those people that takes Thursday and Friday off when I can for the first weekend of March Madness.
Smart.
That's one of my favorite things to do is, I roll out the second TV, do wall-to-wall basketball. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was 4 days of watching basketball for the most part. I mean, running errands, taking advantage of the days off, not completely being a couch potato, but largely being a couch potato. I did my research, put all my effort into this bracket. Didn't matter. I had Kentucky in the championship game, so by night one, I was toast.
This is like my 12th year in a row of not having a bracket, but I said at the beginning of the week, rough road for Wisconsin, good news for Marquette, and that's what happened. Marquette's got a solid team, great coach, and we'll see. I mean, there's some big teams, big names in front of them, but you make the 16, as you know, Bill, anything can happen.
Yes, and, it's good for Marquette. Tyler Kolek came back and, had a good game, and, Shaka Smart. This is, as you grow the program or build the program, this is the kind of move you want in the postseason. And they got to the Sweet 16. If they get further, it's all gravy. So good for them.
This is sort of a political question about the tournament. Why do they have the men's and women's at the same time? I would like to see that separated. Women's season ends before the men's season. I think it's a week before. Separate that. Give the women's basketball is like on fire. Not just Caitlin Clark. There's the story of the coach.
Well, just getting their own rights deal, and it's not their own rights deal. The NCAA has not treated the women's tournament the way it should be treated. I mean, I think as of a year or two ago, they got lesser accommodation, and that blew up on them. So I think women's basketball is in a good place, in a more interesting place than the men's game. It's not one and done. And, we'll see how it grows in popularity as new stars come along.
I'm as the father of two now grown daughters, I'm excited about that. It's a great thing that women, first of all, deserve it and they've earned it. But now they're getting that respect. They're getting the turnout at some of these games. They have longer lines than the men's programs have. I mean, come on. I mean, a lot of this is Caitlin Clark, but there's some other great up-and-coming players in women's basketball. They're going to keep that story going. I see a point in, I don't know, maybe never they'll be exactly the same, but in 10 years it'd be very equatable, men's and women's programs.
Well, perhaps the even bigger advance for women's sports has been these professional leagues that, they're doing pretty well. Like you have the soccer league drawing pretty well. I saw a video from, there's a pro women's hockey league. They had a big crowd in Detroit a few nights ago. So there's support for women's professional sports, which is something that we hadn't seen as much of before.
How about a women's pro basketball team in Milwaukee?
Well, you would have to ask the Bucks about that.
I think the Bucks would be a franchise that would celebrate that, actually.
Well, will it sell, during the summer? I mean, that's a question. I don't know the answer to that. But, maybe there will be a movement towards bringing a WNBA team in here.
I think I see a scenario where you and I, Bill, sit next to each other at those games at Fiserv, watching this women's basketball team. I see a scenario where that happens.
It could happen.
All right, I wanted to get through the sports segment of the show. We'll take a break here. MPS, big referendum next week. We'll get the gentleman's thoughts on that. Bill Glauber, AJ Byatt-Poor, yours truly, Political Power Hour, WTMJ.
We love the game because anything can happen. There's no sure thing.
How did that go in?
Every play.
Oh, my goodness!
Every shot.
Are you kidding me?
Every swing is a risk if you bet.
I can't believe that just happened.
There's no easy money. There's no luck. And no one wins all the time. If you bet responsibly and always set a limit. Learn more at responsibleplay.org.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for the Bath Authority. Just met with these guys yesterday at the Home and Remodeling Show. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, mold, or mildew, you don't want that. Broken tiles, come on. Got to call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products, along with a best-in-class, world-class customer experience. Modern, durable tubs and showers designed with an exclusive high-tech polymer liner. What that means, you got to love this. Low maintenance, resistance to mold and mildew, easy to clean. That's fantastic. And last for decades. You're their priority at the Bath Authority. TheBathAuthority.com. One more time, TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
Get 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. I'm Gina Della from Pella. Pella's free in-home consultations make replacing or redesigning your windows and doors easy. We go beyond just measuring and handing you a quote by listening and educating you on all of your product options. And with DesignWorks, you can see what your home will look like before you buy. Order by March 31st to get 0% interest for up to 3 years. Set your free consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
Griffin is your one-stop shop this March. For just $179.95, enjoy an oil change, tire rotation, air filter, wiper blades, multi-point inspection, battery check, and heat inspection. North, south, or west, wherever you are in town, Griffin guarantees to cover your automotive needs. Call or visit us today for details and restrictions. Griffin, your spring drive starts here.
Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage, available at Navage.com.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
There are surgeons lining up to be the one to do your joint replacement. But my advice? Exhaust all your options and put off joint replacement as long as you can. Make it your very last resort, because life after joint replacement isn't always what it's cracked up to be. As high as 30% of patients who have undergone joint replacement surgery report unsatisfactory results. And the cost, even with insurance, can be extraordinary. At Rejuvenex, we'll help ease your pain and improve your mobility with FDA-approved pharmacological treatments that precisely target where your pain lives. And by easing your pain and inflammation, we'll help you live a better life. And because we're in network with most major insurance plans, your out-of-pocket expense could be very affordable. Or nothing at all. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics, where we can alleviate your pain and rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Oh, the side conversations during the breaks are sometimes the best part of the show, but we can't share that with you all. Bill Glauber, legendary journalist from Milwaukee, longtime, great guy. Same with AJ Viapour. He's been in TV reporting for a long time, now at CBS 58. MPS, big referendum next week. Is it next week already? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, week from tomorrow.
Lots of conversation about this. I'll just give you my general thoughts. One of my criticisms of referendums, and specifically this one, is I don't see a lot of detail. And one of the common criticisms of MPS is they want and ask for dollars, taxpayer dollars, but they have sort of the, trust us mentality. You're covering this story, at least you, AJ. What do you think about the story so far? Where is this going? What might happen next week?
Well, one, I would say, you zoom out, look at the state. There's 90 school districts that are going to referendum this year. So it's not just an MPS thing. I think there's a conversation that needs to be had about how the state funds public education. It's not a coincidence that you have 90 districts going to referendum. At the same time, that doesn't excuse MPS for not having specifics on what they're going to do with $250 million. I mean, this is a serious tax increase. If your house costs $200,000, which is pretty standard, working class,
I might say that's on the low end.
That's for, you own a $200,000 house. You're working class. That's what you got. You put your heart and soul into that. That's $400 more, $432 more per year. Your taxes are going up. MPS owes those property owners an explanation for how that money is going to be spent. When I talked to Superintendent Posley a couple weeks ago, basically the answer was, we're going to keep doing some of the stuff that we're able to do with the 2020 referendum. I mean, very vague, art, music, some of these programs that we were able to restore, we're going to be able to maintain them. Well, can you make the case for how those programs or avoiding these cuts will lead to better results? Because right now you're looking at reading scores, math scores that compared to other big city school districts are among the worst in the country. So what's your plan to improve those outcomes? And right now we're not seeing a lot of specifics in terms of $250 million goes into these areas, and here's our plan to improve those outcomes.
I think, and they haven't even, I listened to a Friday Wisconsin Policy Forum program, which the superintendent was on it and several others were, and I didn't get a sense of that they had a plan on right sizing. They're talking about a plan on right sizing. The enrollment has dropped. I believe was it 38%.
Significant drop off.
Don't trust me or don't hold me to that 38%, but significant. And, it seems like they're doing things backwards. They're asking for the money without the plan ahead of time. And, Alan Borsuk, who still writes for the Journal Sentinel, was on that panel. And at one point he talked about the school in his neighborhood, a school in his neighborhood that, has very few people in it. If this were a business, it wouldn't be run this way. So I think what's good about the debate is that MPS is being forced to try to answer this I'm not saying, picking a side, but they need to defend. And just as the opponents of this need to say why they oppose it, I think MPS needs to be more definitive about what the benefit of this will be, what areas will be filled in. And, it's a very complex issue as well, because we're talking $250 million.
Yeah, and as AJ said, like the impact on one household is significant. That's a big tax increase for people. And I guess for me as a taxpayer, I'm not in the city of Milwaukee, in Milwaukee County. Show me something. Demonstrate to me why you need the money. And one of the frustrations that taxpayers, and I talk to them all around the state, have with these school referendums is it often goes to things that make the campuses look nice, right? We see the stadiums, the field turf, the football fields. We see additional fields being added, team rooms, all the the cool stuff. And hell, I'm not an idiot. I know that high school sports is big everywhere. But when you see the investment made there and you don't see a corresponding improvements in all the other things that are supposed to make schools thrive, one does question.
Well, in fairness to them, they face a fiscal problem. There's no question about it.
It's not unique to MPS. All the school districts are going to face this.
Well,
operational challenges.
The size of the amount of money we're talking about is a huge challenge. And he said even if they close every single school in the district, that's only a savings of $156 million. It doesn't get to the near $200 million hole that they face. So, it is a complex issue. And, I know they're trying their best, but I think they need to defend themselves and provide a firm plan.
I would argue that the people making the argument are not making the argument strongly enough that voters are going to say yes next week. That's just my prediction.
That's quite a prediction.
Yep.
What's unique for the district is that, because, there's a lot of districts that are looking at referendum, but what's really unique for Milwaukee is the challenges created by the high poverty level. I mean, the outcomes are bad. I don't think it's fair to necessarily put all that on the district because it is unique. I mean, you're talking about a proportion of those families that not just free and reduced lunch. I mean, we're talking about federal poverty line, like abject poverty. Milwaukee is in comparison with Detroit and Baltimore. Those are its peers in terms of extreme poverty rates. So it is hard. It is a tough situation that, you can't snap your fingers, you introduce a phonics program and suddenly things are better. But to Bill's point, and to your point, Steve, that doesn't excuse the district for not having any real specifics for what it wants to do with $250 million of additional taxpayer money.
Yeah, there was a good story by Rory Linane today in the Journal Sentinel about, 3 schools. Here's what would happen if the budget doesn't, if the referendum doesn't pass. Here's the 13% of pay cuts. So it's an interesting story. I urge people to read it.
MPS referendum on the ballot next Tuesday, or if you're early voting, right there for you. Bill Glauber, AJ Byatt-Poor, closing thoughts with the two smart journalists after this on WTMJ.
Here's to sweet summer days together with friends and family in Wisconsin. To discovering magic in every moment.
Hey, Mom, over here.
And to reconnecting through a world filled with wonder.
Wow.
Here's to supper club celebrations and dancing until the sun goes down. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Plan your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Universal Windows Direct. Don't be cold in your own home. Do not suffer through one more night with a cold and drafty window or house. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct, Super Spatial Technology. I actually saw them yesterday at the Home and Remodeling Show. They showed me how this works. This technology keeps the edge of the glass warmer, holds the window seal longer, and makes the windows last up to 5 times longer than other window systems, so your windows from Universal perform better, last longer. Plus, they back it all up with a true lifetime warranty. As long as you own your home, plus 30 years for the next homeowner. Tell them I told you to call, get an additional $250 off your project for the last windows you will ever need. Go to universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Accurate Basement Repair. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
If you have breathing triangle issues like compromised nasal breathing and sleep, snoring, or even sleep apnea issues, a call to Advent makes sense. Because breathing well will help you live better.
Join veteran political strategists Donna Brazil and Ana Navarro on April 9th for an animated political discussion at UWM Waukesha. Donna Brazil is a New York Times best-selling author, former interim chair of the DNC, and ran Al Gore's presidential campaign in 2000. Ana Navarro was national co-chair of John McCain's Hispanic Advisory Council and worked on his 2008 campaign. Presented by the Tommy G. Thompson Center on Public Leadership, a political evening with Donna Brazil and Ana Navarro at UWM Waukesha. Learn more at uwm.edu/politics2024.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, clicked on the blue button. One of our senior loan consultants, Brad, sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and then upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. They made a couple offers without success, and then Brad told them about AccuNet's new property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval included that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with a local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win and save money, too. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Oh, that means we're eating pizza in studio. And Stromboli. How about this? Hungry for pizza? Who isn't? I certainly am, and so are the guys. Screaming Sicilian Premium Frozen Pizza ranked best of the best. This is not a lightweight pizza. This is the best of the best, gentlemen. Ranked that by Spork.com. Find Screaming Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and taste what all the screaming is about as they stuff their faces on the political power hour in WTMJ. I love this pizza. It's delicious.
Pizza's pretty good. I got the Stromboli.
Yeah, it is good. It's too hot to eat, though. I can't talk and eat at the same time when it's that hot. But it's delicious. I'm going to enjoy this during the break. So check it out. Screaming Sicilian Premium Frozen Pizza. Absolutely delicious. How about that? I'm not going to feed you every time you come in. Just so you know
this was a surprise. I didn't expect a pizza to be brought, Supreme Pizza brought into my to my right here.
We love our contributors, and we try to do everything we can.
Well, it's great. I got to give a thumbs up.
What's
to the
in that Stromboli?
I have no idea.
It looks like pepperoni.
It looks like pepper, maybe ham too. It looks like ham and pepperoni.
All of a sudden, the political power hour has turned into a food show. But we love this, folks. Screaming Sicilian, premium frozen pizza, best of the best. Now, Spork.com. They rank pizza.
Well, somebody has to.
I guess.
That's
right. Amazing stuff. All right, gentlemen, closing thoughts. What are you looking at this week? What are you going to AJ, what's the story you're looking forward to cover this week?
Something that's kind of flown under the radar that I'm actually going to be working on today is what's going on with the state reading standards. That got overhauled. There was a bill that, that passed last session. The governor signed it. And now push is coming to shove, and it's time to implement this phonics-based reading system. What's interesting is there was a reading council. They had 4 different types of curriculum that you could, implement in these schools with state funding. You don't have to do it, but you would get state aid if you implement these. The DPI said, well, how about 11? Here's 11 things that we'd like to do. Joint Finance said, no, we're going to stick with these 4 things. So there's kind of this fight over 4 or 11. How many curriculums should districts be eligible to get aid for? I want to kind of break that down a little bit more because you want to talk about something that, really matters. How are we teaching kids how to read? It's kind of flown under the radar, this little back and forth between the Joint Finance Committee and DPI. Yeah. So I'm going to be digging into that today.
What do you got, Bill?
You know what? We're going to find out tomorrow that Aaron Rodgers is not the running mate of RFK Jr.
Sounds like that's the case.
Who's supposed to pick his running mate tomorrow or announce it. And the inside line goes to Nicole Shanahan, a lawyer, a mega donor, and an ex-wife of Google co-founder Sergey Brin. Nothing says vice presidential experience like that resume.
If you're going to guess right now, what percent does that RFK ticket get in the general election?
3%.
That's it? I'm going to say 7 or 8.
I think it might be higher this time.
Yeah, 7 or 8.
Because you have 2 candidates that people may well just have some fatigue of. They're tired of the rematch, and I could see a larger than usual share of voters opting third party.
Aaron Rodgers has football to play. We'll see how that shakes out.
Well, how many games?
Is he going to win? I think he's going to play the season. I don't know that sitting out a year, it could be good or bad. It could have rested him, and maybe he's, because Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. All the crazy aside, he can throw the football. Whether he wins a lot of games with the Jets or not, who knows?
I've been a Jets fan since 1965.
I know.
This will not end well. Trust me, it's not ending well.
All right, you heard it from the mouth and the brain of Bill Glauber, great journalist in Milwaukee, former Journal Sentinel reporter, and AJ Byport, CBS 58 will watch your reports and your stories. That has been the Monday edition of the Political Power Hour. News is next on WTMJ.
Home to the auto show, tattoo fest, RV show, and more. Milwaukee's top trade and consumer shows belong at Baird Center. They make it easy, from a walkable downtown location to over 20 loading docks and a newly expanded exhibit hall, ensuring your exhibitors and attendees have an unforgettable visit.